Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso at thewatchbox.com, your direct service email inquiry line for purchase questions about this or any watch you see here on Watchbox Reviews. And today we are talking about a personal grail watch of mine. I was recently at Dubai Watch Week speaking to a noted Rolex expert and collector, and we just kept coming back to the watch that I'm holding right here, a white gold Oysterquartz Day-Date. Now, he one-upped everybody by popping out a perpetual calendar Day-Date prototype that never made it to market. Okay, that was pretty cool, but this watch right here is pretty much the best you can get in terms of exclusivity, refinement, historical importance, and unexpected just a few years ago when these started becoming collectible, the integrated 70s lug, case, and bracelet design that would ultimately become iconic and in our era hotter than it has ever been in its 40-plus year history. So this watch right here represents the best of all possible worlds. A 1979-1980 serial number, Rolex Oysterquartz Day-Date, reference 19019 in white gold. Original Tritium Dial, sapphire crystal. These watches were exquisitely created in the fashion that Gerald Genta had designed for Rolex back in 1970 with the original Rolex 5100. Look up the Rolex Beta 21 5100, designed by Genta, and this has been confirmed by folks who should know. And it is this design. So this watch is officially part of the canon with the Royal Oak, the Nautilus, and the Jumbo Ingenieur as a Genta integrated case bracelet 1970s archetype. Now the watch gives you everything you could want. A wearable case, and this one remarkably intact and minimally refinished. 36 millimeters. You can see the watch is 12.8 millimeters thick, and from lug to lug, because the integrated bracelet pulls straight down, only 42 millimeters lug to lug. Now let's throw it on the wrist real quick so you can get a wrist shot and a sense of the size of the watch. On my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, this watch wears like a dream. I can recommend it for a wrist of any size because it's only 42 lug to lug and the bracelet pulls straight down. I'm not going to recommend any lower limit of wrist size to wear this watch well and comfortably. Now the timepiece features an integrated bracelet, and one of the intriguing variations on this watch compared to almost any other Rolex is that because of the architecture of the bracelet, it features its serial numbers, its hallmarks, as well as the note that the case is of a registered design and the model number, the reference number, underneath the lugs. All of that is still there and remarkably crisp and visible. Here you can see the hallmarks on the case. Now the bevels, which are often the first thing to go on these watches, you can see that they are present and correct here, as the bevel is sharp. It's designed to diminish at the mid case and flare at the lugs, and that it does. And just as with the Royal Oak and the Nautilus, it's designed to run down the shoulders of the individual links. Polished centers, you could see rounded centers and a little bit more of a angular polygonal shape outboard with outer faces polished, satin finished shoulders, polished center, plenty of gaps on the underside to avoid pinching skin or pulling hair. Now as you get closer, you can see that it's a bit of a hybrid, as it's not an Oyster and it's not a President, but it features removable links fixed by screws. It's made of white gold, and it does feature the President bracelet's crown clasp system, with the only visible sign of the partition between the two sides of the bracelet being that crown. The tolerances, the crisp tolerances from the factory of the clasp remain intact, and I often tell people to buy the best example of a vintage watch they can find, and this is the best example of a 19019 I've encountered. The polish on the flank is full, voluminous, and even from side to side. You can see the Oyster crown, a twin lock with the double dot signifying a white gold twin lock, 100 meters water resistant as originally built. You can see the bezel remains sharply faceted with all of its original crispness and definition. This was one of the first Rolex watches to use a sapphire crystal. The Day-Date Oysterquartz and the Day-Date Datejust, or I should say the Oysterquartz Datejust rather, bowed back in 1977. The two watches were almost always chronometer certified. The early Datejusts were not, but every version of the Day-Date was. Now, what sets this watch apart is that it has retained its original factory Tritium Dial. You can see that the hands, the indices, the Rolex crown of white gold. There's a railroad track outboard with Roman numerals seated outboard of each of the applique indices. Now it's a silver sunburst, and you can see it is a day and a date with a Cyclops eye magnifier for the date. Now the watch features both hacking seconds and a single quickset. The single quickset serving the date, so if you wish, you can quickset and rapidly reset the date, and it changes with a wonderfully crisp jump. Of course, you have that hacking seconds function. Now, a lot of folks have disdain for quartz, not out of an abundance of knowledge, but out of generally sophomoric half knowledge. A lot of folks come to the hobby not fully being apprised of the difference between entry-level quartz, like you'll find on a Swatch or even a Happy Meal or a cereal box watch, and true luxury quartz, which can last a lifetime and is both made and serviced by a watchmaker. So this caliber 5055, made by Rolex in one of the most sophisticated movements of any description of all time, is a luxury quartz caliber. First thing you need to know, it features a Swiss lever escapement. The stepper motor indexes the seconds hand using a Swiss lever, locking and unlocking. It always aligns perfectly with the seconds index on the dial. It also produces a remarkably loud and crisp tick, something you wouldn't ordinarily get from all quartz watches. It ensures precision as well as a little bit of traditional watchmaking soul in this 11 jewel movement. Now, it also features thermocompensation, which means that unlike most quartz movements, which can vary quite a bit as it cools off and heats up externally, this watch features thermocompensation with a second quartz circuit that effectively compares with the primary and allows this watch to adjust for dramatic changes in temperature. It is also a certified COSC quartz chronometer. Very, very few quartz movements receive chronometer certifications. It is almost unheard of historically. Now, the movement not only features the thermocompensation and the COSC certification, but objectively, Rolex used to advertise that these watches were accurate to no worse than 5 seconds per month, which is better than the best of the Grand Seiko spring drive family. So you're talking about extraordinary accuracy, about 60 seconds a year at worst. There's more. There is a trimmer device built into the caliber 5055 because this was designed to be a lifetime quartz movement. As a result, over time, as natural quartz crystal drift occurs, the Rolex watchmaker or Rolex trained watchmaker can use the quartz trimmer in this movement to correct for that quartz drift, maintaining COSC quartz chronometer precision in the long term. There is so much more to say about this watch. Quartz has its advantages both in precision and in longevity, as the battery typically will give you 2 to 3 years of duration in between changes. This is a timepiece of extraordinary rarity. Think that Rolex, which today makes about 1 million pieces a year, made about 25,000 of all Oysterquartz Day-Date and Datejust models over about 25 years after 1977. So 25,000 watches in 25 years, and most of those were the Datejust. How many were white gold Day-Dates? A distinct minority, meaning you're talking an exquisitely rare watch, assuming they're all in great shape and still extant. That is not the case. And speaking of cases, this one is about as sharp, as full, and original as you will find. Ditto the movement, ditto the dial, as good as it gets, and probably the next great monumental Rolex collector surge to occur in the auction and vintage market. This watch is a timepiece whose time has come. Experts and enthusiasts agree. Get in now and get in with a white gold Oysterquartz Day-Date. This is my personal Grail vintage Rolex. See it and make it yours on the Watchbox.